Well, he performs at clubs and theaters all over. He was male extra number 399 in the Avengers movie. And next month, on August 27th, he's going to be celebrating 15 years in comedy at Bonkers Comedy Club at Playhouse Square. A Cleveland comedy veteran, Kirk Bogos.
Woo! I'd like to start off with a public service announcement. This is for those of you who have these on your cars, from those of us who don't. Nobody gives a shit about your little stick figure family, okay? I don't care how many boys or girls or dogs or cats. I saw a fish, a stick figure fish. That's wrong. That's wrong. Check this out. I'm standing in line the other day at a CVS drugstore. I'm getting a prescription filled. And I realized that when I was growing up, I did every drug I could get my hands on to make the world around me really, really weird. Now that the world around me is really, really weird, I'm taking 40 milligrams of Prozac every day to make it normal. That's not right. I'll tell you what else isn't right. I spent a lot of time in hotels. I can't open up that little wax paper package of soap in the shower, but I can still roll a joint doing 65 miles an hour down a freeway with a steering wheel tucked between my knees. We should have voted for issue 3, damn it. No, I do travel a lot. I spend a lot of time out on the road, and I'm always fascinated by road signs. I see there's a couple that you see all the time now. There's one I see it everywhere. You guys have seen it. One word: bump. Bump. Think about all the time and the energy and the money it takes to make those signs. Fix the goddamn bump. Problem solved. I had to drive from Cleveland, Ohio to Madison, Wisconsin. And if you've ever looked at a globe, note to self, update that joke, okay? If you looked at a map, you have to go through Cleveland, Michigan rather. And around work zones in Michigan, they have these signs that say, injure a worker, $7,500 in jail. You get to Wisconsin, they have signs that say, injure a worker, $10,000 in jail. I figure if I injure a worker in Wisconsin, I'm going to jail anyway. I'll throw his ass in my trunk, drag him back to Michigan, and save $2,500. I got a calculator. I'm not an idiot, okay? I don't know if you guys saw this. There was an article in the newspaper, USA, I think it was, USA Today, about a pilot that they caught at the Denver airport. He was drinking before his flight in a cocktail lounge. And in the same article, they talked about 2 United pilots that had tested positive for marijuana. Got me to thinking. If you had to choose, would you want the pilot of your airplane to be drunk or stoned? Stoned. Stoned, yes, of course. Of course. Drunk pilots flying along, oh shit, we're going to be late. My wife is going to be so pissed. I got a great idea. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. Sit down and buckle your goddamn seatbelts. We're going to be landing in about 10 minutes next to my house. Stone pilots flying along during the day. Dude, look at all the clouds, man. No, they look like bunny rabbits. People ask me sometimes what kind of jobs I've had. I used to be an air traffic controller. And what do you mean, oh shit? Is that what? Well, fortunately for me, unfortunately for some people, obviously the flu, it was at a time when the government didn't have mandatory drug testing for federal employees. Kind of slid under the radar on that one. But when people find out I was an air traffic controller, they'll ask me, Kirk, did you ever have any accidents? We have to define the word accident. Because if you're talking about did 2 airplanes ever hit each other, no. Thank God that didn't happen. But if you're talking about, holy shit, that was close. Yeah, I had a couple of those. I was working at this big radar facility, and I'd been out to lunch, and I came back. I was back about a half hour. Up in the left-hand corner of the scope, these 2 blips were coming together really fast. I was only talking to one of them. I did what you had to do, which was turn them 90 degrees to miss what turned out to be a piece of coleslaw that was slowly falling down my radar screen. Shortly after that, the government instituted mandatory drug testing for federal employees. I do spend a lot of time at airports and on airplanes. And for a comedian, being at airports and on airplanes, that's like a wet dream. Because just so much funny stuff happens, you know. And when I fly out of Hopkins, and if you've ever been up there, you know that we have these big, long moving walkways. I always get behind some 6 or 7 member Amish family that thinks they're on a ride at the Cedar Point. I'm waiting for one of them to go, "Wee, Yoder," whatever Amish people yell. I don't know any Amish people. I don't speak Amish. I don't know what they're saying. But for me, the fun starts once they close the main cabin door. That's when it starts. Because the first thing they tell you is to turn off all your electronic equipment or put it in airplane mode. I don't understand why. 737 cost $60 million to build. My iPhone cost $347. If this $347 iPhone is going to take down that $60 million airplane, hey, Bowie, you have a serious design flaw. You are not going to hear on the news tomorrow, a 737 crashed after takeoff. The NTSB has determined that the cause of the accident was the asshole in 11A was playing Candy Crush on his iPhone. That's not going to happen. Pilot comes on and says, sit back and relax and have a safe and enjoyable flight. I can sit back and relax. Have a safe and enjoyable flight. I think the ball's in your court on that one, cowboy. Then comes the safety briefing. The safety briefing. Let me ask you guys a question. Do we still need somebody to stand up at the front of an airplane and show us how to buckle his seatbelt? Let's take a random survey. How many people here have been in, I don't know, a car? And not only they tell you how to do it, they show you how to do it. Take the metal tab, insert it into the buckle, and pull the strap tightly across your lap. You know what, Einstein? If you have a metal tab in this hand and a buckle in this hand, and you don't know what to do with it, I don't want you in my life raft. If the air pressure changes in the cabin, oxygen mask will fall down from the compartment above your head. I've seen all those disaster movies. Every time that happens, somebody gets sucked out of one of those little windows, and it's usually the fat guy. That's bullshit. It's funny, but that's bullshit. And then in the unlikely event of a water landing, your seat cushion can be used as a flotation device. Really. Next time you're on an airplane, take a look at that seat cushion. Do they think that you really believe that that wrinkly, crushed piece of foam rubber is going to save your ass if this plane goes down? Maybe in a duck pond, but that's really... And in all those disaster movies, do you ever see anybody out there floundering around in the water, clutching onto a seat cushion? That's my point. That's my point. Let's talk about the dynamics of an airplane. When they're airborne, they're airtight, hermetically sealed. They have filtration systems, but we're basically breathing the same air. Why do some of you think this is a great time to take off your shoes? I missed the announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. We reached our cruising altitude. Kick those shoes off and give them dogs some air. No, make those dogs hold their breath all the way to Philadelphia. I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm going to Philly. I'm on the left-hand side of the airplane at the window. We pull into the gate. They start to move the jetway out. Gets about 3 feet from the plane, stops, back and forth, back and forth. Obviously, there's some kind of problem. Pilot comes on the PA system, really cool, calm, and collected, Says, ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. Apparently, we have a problem with the jetway. Maintenance is on their way out here. We're going to get this fixed. get you off the airplane into the terminal as fast as we can. Thanks for your patience. One time, I'd like to hear what this guy's really thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. You're not going to believe this shit. The asshole that drives the jetway couldn't navigate 3 goddamn feet. He broke the pin on the bottom of the jetway. I told you maintenance is on their way out of here. We got to find these bastards. You know what? You guys have cigarettes, smoke them. I don't give a shit. Get to Philadelphia and I have to rent a car. Now, I have a 1999 Chevy Malibu with like 900,000 miles on it. So I don't rent new cars very often. I get into a 2016 Chrysler Spaceship. I don't even know what this thing was. But I go out on the road, I get in the car, I strap in, take off. I'm driving down the road, I look up on the dashboard, I see it, I can't believe it. There's a button that you can select or deselect the passenger side airbag. Are you kidding me? It's now up to me. If we have an accident, whether you live or go sailing through my goddamn windshield. That's a lot of pressure. Then I found out it costs like $1,200 to repack one of these things. So not only has Chrysler put a price tag on your head, I got to decide if your life is worth $1,200. All I'm saying is if I owe you money, you better drive, okay? As a safety precaution. Did I introduce you to my Ethiopian friend? That's a stupid joke. That's. So I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm going to my high school reunion. Some of you probably have done that. And I walked into a room like this, looked around, and said, "Hey, who are all these people? And where the hell are all the kids I went to high school with?" You know. Well, I grew up in South Philadelphia. Went to one of the toughest high schools in South Philly, Montgomery High. Our school mascot was a parole officer. That's how tough my high school. One year in my senior year, in biology, we actually dissected a custodian. Our senior class picnic, we had a scavenger hunt. One of the items on the scavenger hunt was bring back a foot. No, Joe Maggiano brought back 3. He's Italian. We didn't ask him where he got them. And we were arguably the dumbest senior class in the entire Philadelphia public school system. I mean, my SAT scores were just slightly higher than my bowling average. You know what? I'm glad you guys laughed at that, because I did that joke last week in Huntington, West Virginia, and everybody looked at me and went, "Yeah?" We're in American history class. Teacher asks, "Where's the Declaration of Independence sign?" From the back of the class, Gary Cancellieri yells, "Hey, yo, at the bottom, right at the bottom." Big empty space down there where everybody's on. I sat through a whole year of English literature class, never learned how to kill a mockingbird. We're sitting in science class one day. My best friend in high school was a guy named Jerry Finkelstein. Jerry was as dumb as a rock. Science teacher asked Jerry, "Jerry, name 6 animals that live in the Arctic Circle." Jerry says, okay, wait a minute. 2 polar bears and 4 seals. That was Jerry. It's pretty stupid. Just celebrated my 36th wedding anniversary. Whoa, wait a minute. No. That's equally divided between 4 women. I'm not. I'm not proud of that, okay? I'm not. Some good things came out of being married and divorced that many times. My best friend is my attorney. Every summer he invites me up to the lake out on my boat. That's like a time release joke, you know? I could just hear the laughter wafting across the room. No, I learned how to tell if I'm really in love with someone. I just ask myself one simple question. Would I mind being financially ruined by this woman? No, here's what I learned. I learned that men and women are different. We have different meanings for the same words, right? We speak a different language. If my wife and I are having an argument, and it ends with her saying, fine. See, to her, that means I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. To me, that means I am so not getting laid tonight. The word disgusting. Guys, back me on this. To most men, disgusting is acceptable. Yeah, hey, Kirk, look at this email I got. What? What is she going to do with it? Oh, man, that's disgusting. Delete it? Hell no. Send that over to my computer. Right? When we were dating, my wife wouldn't come over to my apartment because she said my carpet was too crunchy. Yeah, if you get off the path, yes. That's why the socks are there. It's clearly marked. Women, especially if you've lived with a man, disgusting is that floor around the bottom of the toilet. See, to us, that's just acceptable bathroom collateral damage. And no place on the planet is the difference between men and women more apparent than in public restrooms. See, men, we go in a public restroom, there are two rules. Rule number 1, no eye contact. Rule number 2, no talking. There's no talking. Last thing I'm going to hear from the dude standing at the urinal next to me is, nice watch. Women, you go into a public restroom full of total strangers, you come out 20 minutes later on the planning committee of a bridal shower. And you have a new recipe for meatloaf. How does that happen? All 3 of my marriages ended for totally different reasons. My first marriage ended because I was just in a failed mixed marriage. And I'm white and she was a bitch. So that didn't work for me. My second marriage ended because after a while, I thought she was cheating on me, you know. So I just asked her one day, I said, are you fooling around on me? And she said, not really. What? My third wife, this is really scary. Every time we argued or got into a fight, she would threaten me. Threaten me to the point where I thought, you know what? One of these days she really is going to shove a baseball bat up my ass and set it on fire. I don't want to be around when that happens. Now, my current wife, apparently that's a temporary title. Is she looking at me? I can't tell. Is she smiling? I can't tell if she's smiling. I'm not looking over there. She's going through that Godzilla phase of menopause right now, you know. She's breathing fire and stomping on cities, you know. But fortunately, right, my son and I, Bill, we have the secret Navy SEAL sign language. She goes, I'll come into the house and I'll know he's there somewhere. And I'll go, Bill, Bill. Which means, where is she and what's our alert level? No. Then he'll jump up from like behind a couch, dressed like a bush. And he'll go, no. Which means she's downstairs, we're at DEFCON 4. If she looks at you, just smile. And see, man, we don't know how to deal with menopause. We don't have a clue. So I got online, I looked up menopause and changed life. And I found these things back in the 70s. They used to make, remember mood rings? Remember those things? Where they change color with your body temperature and tell you what kind of mood you're in. I got her to wear it. I'll be a son of a bitch, they work. No, they do, because when she's in a good mood, it'll turn green, and when she's in a bad mood, it leaves a red mark on my face. So, no, they're working. That's how I know they're working. Don't hold it back, it hurts. You gotta let it all out. Otherwise, like I said, I spend a lot of time on the road, and I watch a lot of television. I watch a shitload of TV. What do you guys think of these reality shows? You like them? Yes, no? I hate them. You know what show I hate the most? Survivor. Too many shows, too many episodes, too many tribes. You know what they need on that show? A sniper. One show, one sniper, season fucking over. Would somebody please tell the Kardashians that the mothership is here, it's time to go back to your planet and take Nancy Grace with you, okay? Here's my point. My point is that getting older sucks. The king of transitions, isn't that wonderful? I got a C in transitions at comedy school, so. No, getting older does suck. It just does. It just sucks. It sucks. And the problem is, what happens, I don't care how old you are, 20, 30, 50, 80, doesn't matter. However old you are, you can't do stuff today that you did 10 years ago. You just can't. The problem is, when you get up to this end of the time continuum, the stuff that you can't do really starts to piss you off. My doctor told me I have really, really low testosterone. At this point in my life, that means I can get a hard on. I just don't know what to do with it. Now what? I threw my back out about a month ago. I wish I could tell you it was doing something like playing, Australian rugby or football, but I was reaching for a quart of milk in the refrigerator. Apparently, 16 ounces of a dairy product is a little bit over my load limit. My wife and I were sitting in the living room about a month ago. She said, let's go upstairs and have wild sex. I said, holy shit, I can't do both. Do you ever see how winded I am when I get to the top of the steps? When I was in college, you'd study all night for an all-nighter. They call that an all-nighter, studying for exams. Now I pull an all-nighter. That means I got to sleep all night. I didn't have to get up and pee. I realized, I don't know how this happened, I realized I can go 2 weeks without sex. I can't go 10 minutes without my fucking glasses. And my sex life is just a disaster now. I'm like an old lawnmower. It's going to take 2 or 3 pulls to get me started. And we're definitely going to smell gas. This isn't going to be pretty. I can't even look at my wife. I mentioned I grew up in the 60s and 70s. Look at all the great shit we gave you in the 60s and 70s. We gave you the Beatles, we gave you hula hoop, we gave you Star Trek. We gave you great words and phrases in the 60s and 70s. Most of them aren't around anymore. When was the last time you heard, hey man, if you want this whole bag, it'll be 25 bucks. How I yearn for the long old days. My favorite word, though, is still around. Usually hear it at a party. Somebody will walk up and go, Ear. No, when I was growing up, we basically had two drugs. We basically had pot and acid. That's pretty much it. I remember the first time I did acid, I had this incredible political debate with my couch. And I lost, which is really a sad part of that story. No, one of two things happened if you did those kind of drugs early in your life. You had okay experiences that you can laugh and talk about today, or your brain changed, and it just didn't change back. Everybody's got that one friend, who did drugs one time too many. My friend's name is Jerry from high school. I'll see him at the mall. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? I like eggs. Yeah, I like eggs. Jerry had a little black Cocker Spaniel named Timmy. Got killed by a car about a year ago. We replaced it with a German Shepherd. He still hasn't noticed the difference. He did say we have to take Timmy to the vet because his piles of shit were getting a lot bigger. But other than that, he doesn't have a clue. For me, my drug of choice in the 60s and 70s, and the 80s, and 90s, the 00s, teens, out there on I-90, has always been grass. I mean, it's the least dangerous of all the recreational drugs, right? When was the last time you saw two guys smoking it up at a party all night and then going out back and kicking the shit out of each other? Maybe over the last chocolate chip cookie, but... And for me, grass fits so nicely into all these little slots in my life. Grass in music, grass in sex, grass in oral sex. Hey, being stoned and getting a blowjob, that's like God's way of saying, hey, Kirk, have a nice day. And I'm convinced that pot is just proof that God wants us all to be happy. I have a vision of guys my age, stressed out in his life, his job, his family, dies of a heart attack, goes into heaven, walks up to God and says, God, why all the stress? God looks down and says, dude, that's what the pot was for. I planted it everywhere. As part of my probation, I'm required to tell you about some of the side effects of smoking pot. Not all of them are bad. By a round of applause or a show of hands if you're too embarrassed, how many people have had the munchies? Now, and I'm not talking about the kind of munchies where you say, oh, geez, I'm hungry, I'd really like some yogurt. No. I'm talking about those kind of munchies where you eat standing over a goddamn trash can. Or you go into the kitchen, you go to the freezer, and you take out a half a gallon of Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey ice cream, and you throw away the lid. Because if you've had those kind of munchies, you know, you can't prevent the munchies. All you can do is be prepared for them. But what happens if you're not prepared? What happens? You will put shit together to eat on a plate that you wouldn't put together in a sentence. I had the munchies really bad one time. Only thing in my refrigerator were 3 hard-boiled eggs and some chocolate syrup. Hey, that's a treat around my house now on Sundays. Don't knock that. Here's something I got to warn you about. Long-term use of marijuana fries the wiring between your brain and your mouth. Yeah, I was in Indiana on the freeway, got stopped by a state trooper. Apparently I was speeding. He comes up to the car, I roll down the window, my brain says, geez, officer, I was only going like 4 or 5 miles over the speed limit. I didn't think that was so bad. My mouth said, dude, you're not gonna look in the glove compartment, are you? 30 days, I got it. 30 days. 30 days. Memory loss. Here's another one. Memory loss. That'll scare the shit out of you. I In my apartment, my recliner is 12 feet from my kitchen. You're smoking way too much pot. If you think of something here, and you forget about it by the time you get here. Oh, this is really scary. I was on my way home not too long ago. Completely forgot where I live. Ever happened to you? Luckily I was passing a Domino's pizza, pulled into the parking lot, called him on my cell phone, ordered a pizza, followed the delivery guy back to my apartment. I thought that was pretty goddamn creative in an emergency situation. You guys have been unbelievable. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thanks for all. I think you guys donated like $30,000. That's incredible. Thank you. We've had a ball. This is a great cause, and we're hoping to do this a lot more for the foundation. So thanks for coming out. I'm going to leave you with this. The side effect, though, that scares us the most is the one that strips you totally of all your good judgment and your common sense. We all have that little voice in the back of our head that's in charge of that stuff. Because when I drink, he doesn't. Because at some point during the night, it's his job to say, Kirk, one more beer, I'm shutting your brain down. I stop drinking. Problem is, when I smoke, he's smoking too. Now we're both stoned. I have to go out. This is where I expect him to say, oh, Kirk, man, you can't drive. Instead, he's back there yelling, dude, road trip! I'm late. I jump in my car. I go tearing down the street. I'm doing about 8. A couple of you people have been in that car before? I come up over the crest of a hill. There's a blue tree in the middle of the street. I swerved to miss it. It was the air freshener hanging from my mirror. That's pretty stupid, isn't it? I'm really going to leave you with this. I was just in the Cleveland Clinic not too long ago, and you guys know Cleveland Clinic, we have doctors from all over the world, and I think that's great. I don't have a problem with doctors from any country in the world except for one. That's doctors from India. Not sure about you guys, but I don't know if I want to trust my life to a guy who believes in reincarnation. I see him on the operating table. Doctor, we're losing him. Oh, not to worry, he will be back. What the I was in a hospital for what is arguably the closest thing that men will come to childbirth. That's passing a kidney stone. You ever seen a kidney stone? They're not these small little round smooth little things. No. They're these sharp little death is what they are. You know what? If your doctor says to you, Kevin, you have kidney stones, give him all your money, give him your wife, blow the guy, whatever. Don't blow the guy. But Kevin might. Kevin might. But make sure this guy puts you on a slow morphine drip for like about 4 days. Because if you don't, I swear to God, kidney stones are going to make you make noises you have never heard before. About the 3rd day in the room, my roommate said it sounded like somebody was trying to suck a cat through a vacuum cleaner. Here's what happens. Come that first slide, please. Okay. Starts up here in your kidney, okay? Picks up speed, makes its way all the way down the eurythmic tube. Thank you, all you Annie Lennox fans, for getting that joke. Appreciate that. Boom, into your scrotum. Now, if it hasn't gotten your attention by now, God damn it, it's about to. Because now it starts whipping around and slicing and dicing. Really, Laura? And then it looks up and sees light at the end of the tunnel. And now it starts to make its way slowly out the entire length of your penis. I swear to God, it was the first time in my life. I am so glad my dick is only this big. You guys have been great. Thank you very much. Thank you.